Let these guys answer eminent domain issues with the in your quick country. Okay, Hank?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hank, let me try to take a stab at it. As I said last week, I'm not the right-of-way expert. But actually, this whole notion of quick take was on the books way before House Bill 3588 that you mentioned. In fact, well, no, actually, you can look and research it. It actually came out years and years ago. The department had it, I think, all the way back into the late 90s. The NTTA, the Old Texas Turnpike Authority, I think had it all the way back in 1991. Harris County Toll Authority has it, NTTA has it, but the fact of the matter is we've never used it. This whole notion of quick take is very confusing, and frankly it's a bit of a misnomer. I think most people would say highway development is neither quick and we don't take right away without compensation. The reality is, just as this project, just as the Commissioner said, it's been on the books for a number of years. I-69 started back in the early 90s. And so landowners have lots and lots and lots of notice that a project's being discussed, and ultimately get down to the point of setting an alignment. And then even when we get into the right-of-way acquisition phase, it's still months and months and months and months and years before we actually get to the point of acquiring people's property. So again, there's nothing quick about this at all. Hank is right that the legislature looked at this so-called quick take the last legislative session, and I believe they actually looked at it and added some additional time in there just to provide a bit more comfort to the property owners, a bit more notice on top of those months and months and months and years. And on the take side, again, people get the impression, I talked to a lot of y'all before this, and I've talked to other meetings, that whole notion of take is that we take it without compensation. Again, as the Commissioner said, state and federal law doesn't allow that. We have to go there, we sit down, we negotiate and pay for that property, fair market value. So again, nothing about quick take changes your rights as property owners or our responsibility as the state to provide you fair compensation for your property.
Bill, if I might, that's not what I was asking. In the procedure itself, when can the state actually seize the property under Texas quick take? Rather than, and I'm going by explanations you gave last week, you and Steve, that in the old days, the days that most of us are familiar with, the state did send an appraiser out there. If you didn't agree with that appraisal, you could bring in an independent appraiser. And if there was still any conflict in what the value of the property was, it went to a 3-member panel. Now you and Steve both in the previous meeting stated that 3-member panel in all likelihood would be selected by the county judge. And it would be people from the community that would take the 2 appraisal values and would determine a reasonable value for the property. Now, in years past, prior to quick take, the process then, if the landowner still didn't agree with the compensation package for the property, they could appeal that to a jury of their peers, a jury of 12, take it to the courthouse. And nothing was done with the property until that decision was reached and handed down. The way I understand and the way it was presented last week with Texas quick take is once that 3-member panel, arbitrating panel, comes back with a compensation package or a figure, the state can at that point put that amount of money in escrow, actually seize the property, and the property then, the tenants have so many days, 30 days, 60 days,
90.
to vacate, 90 days to vacate the property, but then it's the tenant can then take it to a court, but at the same time the state will have already seized the property. Is that a true assessment, or I know that's what was said last week, is that a true assessment of what quick take is?
I didn't quite follow all of it. First off, again, we don't seize the property. We'll sit down and negotiate fair market value for this property. Landowners, regardless, landowners will always have the opportunity to go to special commissioners if they don't like that value, going up to the jury trial. and still sit there and discuss and argue their case that they should have a higher value placed on that property. So they still have all those opportunities, and I think that you mentioned something about 30 days or whatever, and I think, and somebody in the crowd may have said it was changed to 90 days, and I believe that is correct. I think that was the element that the legislature changed to allow a bit more assistance to property owners. They changed that from 31 to 91 days to add another couple of months. But again, we've never used it, probably never will use Quick Take, and this thing, again, it's not a surprise. We talk about these projects, we negotiate, and so property owners have months and months and months of notice that a highway is being developed.
Martha